Welcome, everybody. I wanted to make a quick update for July 2nd, 2016. I've been on record, since the beginning of this year that I wasn't a big fan of this current silver bull run, all the way up until, April or May, even into May. I just felt like something wasn't right, and there was two major factors for my resistance to this current silver bull market. Number one, throughout the first part of the year, gold actually led silver, and that just freaked to me like, no, that's not right. Because one has to understand that the gold market is measured in trillions, and the silver market's measured in tens of billions at most. It's just an infinitely smaller pool of money that is invested in silver versus gold. So my thought is, if gold is rising in a $1 trillion market, and I know that physical silver outsells, and if you look at any of the mints, the United States Mint, silver outsells 30 to 60 ounces per ounce of gold, meaning that there's equal amounts of money invested in silver and gold, pretty much universal across all mints. That any rise where gold is rising, or any bull market where gold is rising relative to silver, didn't seem right to me. And then the second big reason why I was not into this silver bull market, and this is not, I've been fully invested for 10 years, so it's not like I'm in and out of the market. I just, I'm not going to get on the air and say, hey, this is it. And the other reason why is because seasonality. We were reaching the end of the spring market, which is usually the end of when it can be strong, and going into the summer markets. I've sat through tons of summers now, where there's just a lot of complacency in the market. There's not a lot of investment. And silver tends to just lag and do nothing until the fall, and maybe once in a while during the fall it'll catch fire and move up. So I thought two big reasons why I wasn't into the 2016 silver bull market is because of gold rising relative to silver and the seasonality factor. Now, here we are, beginning of July. Silver is up 39% since the beginning of the year. And I'd said before, it's one thing for it to be up 39%, but when you see how long and how low it's been, 39%, yes, it's good in relative terms, but it's coming up from a very, very low bottom. But now I'm getting people going, okay, now it's almost at 20 and it's going up, 50 cents a day, $1 a day. Is it too late? No, it's not too late. Number one, I don't ever measure my wealth in dollars. That is, if you invest thinking in dollar terms, you're still stuck in the game, and you're either going to buy for greed and sell for panic. But if you measure, this is the trick, if you measure your wealth in ounces, if you measure wealth in real terms, like calories or friends or skills that you have or ammunition, in real things that you have, you're freed from this whole game. But as soon as you measure things in dollars, you're playing into the bankster game, because dollars are nothing more than future promises on real wealth. They're not wealth in itself. In fact, they're anti-wealth. And it's tough to wrap your mind around it, but when you understand that a dollar is debt and the debt is dollar, that it has no material wealth in itself, it's only a future claim on wealth, then you start to free yourself from it. But now that we're here, now we're in July. We just had probably one of the best 10 days I've seen, since I've been investing, except for this one period that I want to talk about. Certainly in the last 5 years, silver's had the best couple days since Brexit. And the fact that Brexit didn't cause more panic in the markets, that has almost fully bounced back in all the paper markets, and gold and silver are rising and other currencies are falling, says to me that this probably does have some serious legs behind it. And I wanted to take people back, because I know a lot of people don't remember this time. Because when I was first talking about silver, there was nobody really talking about it on YouTube. I wasn't even on YouTube by then. But I had been invested in silver since 2005, when I sold my house at the top of the housing bubble, and literally bet the house on silver in 2005 when it was $7 or $8. Watched it go all the way up to $21, I think, by 2008. And then it had crashed all the way down to $8, and I rode through all of that. But I want to take you guys to 2010, where silver was lagging along, basically bouncing around doing nothing for the first, third or first half or 2/3 of the year. And then middle of August, silver went from $17.76. And I specifically remember that because I'm like, oh, that's the year of the revolution. That's a memorable price. And silver just kept going up almost every single day. And this past couple weeks has had that same feeling of it's just continually going up. And I like the fact that it's going up overnight, which means that the European and the Asian markets are buying this, and they're not smacking it down on the American markets, which has been the typical pattern for the last 5 years. And that says to me that the rest of the world is heavily going into silver and gold during this time period, and they're not putting a cap on it. And so the 2010 bull run was an incremental 2 to 3% moves every single day. And it was as if they were releasing the steam slowly so it didn't get away from them. And it eventually did. And I think that's one of the reasons why they were able to slam it so hard from 50 all the way down to, where we were down to $13. Where people back then, were really investing in a lot of paper silver products. The silver ETF was pretty new and strong, and anybody who had gotten into silver would have gone into paper assets. But I can tell you that the physical silver purchases have far outweighed any paper products, certainly over the last 5 years, and if not even a little bit longer than that. And I think that this next time, this time, that the price of silver is going to continue to rise until we get to some physical, break in the market where there is a default, where there is supply that is not, being met with the demand. And this is a tight market. So people have been asking me, Chris, we've seen the move go from, $14 up to this, and it's 39%. Is it too late? No, this is a wonderful time. In fact, any time is wonderful. Anytime that you have dollars, which are future promises on wealth, and you can change it for real wealth, which is silver, it's a good day. And I'm a big believer of just consistently buying on a dollar cost average basis, time in, time out. Whenever you have extra money, it's wise to just, use it then. But right now, the American markets have not responded to this. This has really been, I feel, a foreign-driven silver bull market, and one in which I think the dollar investors, you most likely, if you're a YouTube listener listening to me, have been lulled into complacency, thinking like, oh, the price of silver is low, it's down, premiums are low, delivery times for the dealers are good. It's no time to panic, and I'm telling you, do it now while you can, because when the rest of this world comes to real understanding of how horribly rigged this system is, it's going to be too late. Now is the premiums are very low, delivery times are great. There is silver to be had out there. In fact, I think the U.S. Mint said that they were going to stop their allocation to the dealers because they're building up an inventory, and the dealers aren't taking all of what they're producing. So this is one of those weird times that I think people are going to look back and go, hey, I really wish I bought more when times are like this, because as you'll see in this chart from 2010, silver went from $17.76, like I said, at the end of August, and by the end of the year, almost doubled. It was up to close to $31. And then January it went down to 26, but then from 26 it went almost double again, all the way up to 50 by the end of April. And then, May 1st came around. They supposedly killed Osama bin Laden, and, there was billions of dollars of paper contracts that were dumped into a closed market, and just drove silver down, I think, $7 in 10 minutes. I mean, it was an obscene amount of money that had happened. But right now, the bankers are already loaded, I think, with the most amount of silver paper shorts in the market, and the price is low. This isn't like shorting silver at 50. This is shorting silver when it was 14, and they're probably sitting on huge losses. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did knock it down to try to relieve some of this. But the risk is there's far more potential upside than there is downside at this period, even though silver is up 40%. Especially with premiums that are as low as they are, because if we get to a point where silver is taking off, the nominal price of silver is rising, it becomes scarce, premiums rise, delivery times rise, that's when real stress sits into the market. And I wouldn't want to be waiting for my wealth in that time period. So I just wanted to give a quick update and kind of give a perspective of what I went through in 2010. And then just one final thing is because the price of silver is rising as much as it is, premiums are almost negligible. I mean, we're selling the 2016 Freedom Girl BU at $199 over spot through our authorized dealers at the silvershieldexchange.com. And and that includes Silver Gold Bull, SD Bullion, APMEX, Kitco, and the Golden State Mint. They're all participating. I don't know what levels they're doing because I can't say, hey, you have to sell it for this price. But check them all out. I know it's at least as low as $199 over spot. But if you bought one of those on, say, Tuesday, by the time you're receiving them, you have silver at spot because the price of silver is rising so much. So it's a wonderful time to be buying in a rising market, getting your physical silver. And as it rises, you'll notice if you're dollar cost average like I do, it sucks buying silver at 30 and 40 and 50 and higher because the same amount of money that you spend, you get far less every single time. In fact, when the last silver bull run, I really stopped out at like $34 because the amount of money I was spending on a daily basis, I was now getting back just a few ounces, and it just didn't feel as as good. So now's the time where you could do that. And then one final thing I want to point out is the gold to silver ratio. It's still relatively very high. We're still in the 70s. It had reached, I think, 82 or something like that. But during the last silver bull run from 2010 to 2011, that dropped to almost 30 to 1. That means 30 ounces of silver for 1 ounce of gold. So if you have gold, I strongly recommend you trade that or sell your gold and buy silver, at this ratio, because if you do like gold, wait until the price of silver rises relative to gold and then sell your silver for gold or trade it or whatnot. So I wanted to give a quick update. I know people have been asking me because now, things are finally seeming to cook in this market. I would put one word of caution. We still are in a very, cyclical, market. Like I said, summer usually is very, not good for the silver market. But if we do get to, August and September, only a month or two away, that's when you're going to start seeing even more institutional buying, global buying. The Indians start buying more, and it'll be a wind at our back. Plus, we'll be close to these elections, and I'm sure whatever next financial crisis is going to happen, lots of things don't look well for the American empire, and silver is probably one of the best refuges for that. So, thank you for your time. Bye.